Alright, so here is a wonderful little article in the Washington Post entitled Why America Needs a Hate Speech Law. Now, the first question is, of course, who defines hate speech? And not only that, when are these definitions being determined and being put into law? Because today you may craft a law that simply says you can't incite violence with your speech, but tomorrow you may go even further and say you're not allowed to express certain opinions on immigration, as it would be hateful to others based off their country of origin, or you're not allowed to express certain opinions on gun control, as being against gun control could lead to more violence. They would be wrong about that assumption, but I don't doubt that they would say it. Or how about a law against expressing an opinion on the legalization of drugs, as drugs destroy lives? Or perhaps outlawing criticisms of the war on poverty, as how could you be against a war on poverty? It's only your money being taken by force and given to impoverished people. If you speak out against that, you must be engaging in some form of violence against poor people. Now, all of those examples I just gave are ridiculous, but I do not put it past these people to be ridiculous. Or here's another law you may want to pass. Forbid the usage of the term white privilege because it's insulting to someone based off their skin color. And forbid the use of describing someone as a straight white male right before you claim they must be ignorant of certain issues because of the color of their skin, their gender, and their sexual orientation. That's highly insulting. It's a massive generalization of around 120 million people in the US. It assumes we're all one big unit that isn't comprised of unique individuals. That's insulting to me and many other white males, but do you hear me advocating for those people who spout that nonsense to be put into prison for their speech? Absolutely not. You won't find it. And even further, I think the ideas this author is spewing out in this article are highly dangerous. Efforts by the government to control speech, control expressions, and force you to bow down to the limits they've set are nothing new in history, and they never end well. There are history books filled with political leaders who had the same thoughts as this author on their twisted idea of free speech, and people suffered and died because they stepped out of line. So I could even point to this article as espousing ideas that have led to the death and oppression of societies throughout history, and I could call for this type of messaging to be banned. I wouldn't be without evidence, but I still would never call for such a thing. This author has every right to express their ridiculous opinion, and it should be guarded against at all times. Now let me just pose a question to this author. What if someone expresses an extremely unpopular opinion that cuts to the core of people and insults them and makes them feel uncomfortable, and dare I say it may even trigger them? What if someone expresses an unpopular opinion like that, but they're also correct? Does the simple fact that they've been insulting to others mean they should be thrown into jail? Or perhaps by them expressing that unpopular yet true position, perhaps the possibility of violence increases because it makes people just that upset? Does that mean you would outlaw a truth because some people can't handle it? Who decides which truths are acceptable for people to know? That is a frightening question that should never have to be asked. And furthermore, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Judging by the content and general attitude of this article, I'm going to assume this author is not a big fan of Trump, and that's fine. The question is, though, do you really want politicians like Trump, even on the state level, to have the power to dictate what comes out of your mouth, or the words you write down on a piece of paper? Do you want someone like Trump to be able to prevent you from expressing opinions that they don't like? And even worse than that, do you want someone like Trump dictating what you are able to listen to? As the freedom of speech does not just pertain to what someone is allowed to say, it is also the right of a person to expose themselves to things they want to hear. And forbidding these things doesn't make them go away, by the way. It simply causes a great deal of unrest, and it provides no opportunity for those who have ill-informed opinions to be corrected and to maybe get on a more reasonable path. But that is all for now. Like, sub, share, and take it easy.